So we're using the, like I said, the Turtle Friends, and it's just a nice stamp set that's got outline images that can be colored in, or you also have stamps that can add detail, or both. And then it comes with a punch, which is really great when you want to just do your projects relatively quickly and without any additional equipment. So let me put that aside and let's pull out some of our pieces to start. I have a card base of basic white, and I have cut this card base to 8 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 and folded that in half. And then I have a piece of fresh freesia that is 5 1/4 inches by 3 7/8, and then another piece of basic white that is then 5 1/8 inch by 3 3/4. And this one, as I think you can see, it's very bright where I'm sitting, but I think that you can see it. This one I have run through with the stitched greenery die. And this is just a really fun one that you just run it through like any die, but it doesn't actually cut. It just adds this stitching detail onto your paper or cardstock. It goes really well with the Turtle Friends because it's just very light and whimsical. And I love anything that has stitching on it. As you probably, if you've seen any of my things in the past, you might have heard me say that many times before. So we're just going to adhere these together. I need to pull it a little closer so I can see it to line it up. And then I'm going to put this onto our card base with dimensionals. You could put it down flat, but I like to have that, just that little bit of height on the project. Okay, and then we'll add that to the card front like so, and then I'm going to add just a few little details. So I have just a piece of the Fresh Freesia Designer Series paper, and I did grab some of these. So this is, they just call it Designer Series paper. It doesn't really have a name, but they come in the various color families. So the bright, subtles, regals, or neutrals, or each of the in color families, and you just get these fairly solid prints, but they're not just plain cardstock. They've got a little bit of interest to them, but they're just all one color. And I have found that these are just really handy for adding that little bit of something to your project, or a little bit of solid color that's not competing with your main images, but it's just that little bit more interesting than cardstock. And then I have just a little strip of vellum. Now I wanted that vellum to be green, but we don't have any green vellum. So I'm going to show you how you can make your vellum any color that you want. I have Old Olive and the blending brush, and I'm just going to brush on the color right onto the vellum. You might want to not put your fingers right in it if you can help it, till it's had just a minute or two to dry. And you'll be able to see once I put it up on the white paper how green it actually is. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to stamp, before I flag the end, I'm going to just stamp on that. I'm going to stamp the happy birthday. Now on vellum you do need to use the stays on. We have it in brown and we have it in black. I did do another video that discussed that at length, but vellum is waxy, so that means it doesn't absorb the ink like cardstock does. So for a water-based ink, it needs to sit on something that absorbs it in order to dry, whereas the stays on is alcohol based, so it just evaporates. And so you can use it on like acetates and vellums without any problems. I'm just going to leave that for a minute, and I'm just going to flag the ends. And how we do that, let me get into the better light, is I'm just going to snip it up the middle of my strip here, and then go from one corner to the top of that little slit, and then the other corner to the top of that slit. And then you get a reasonably even little flag shape. I'm going to do the same with the vellum, being careful to not touch that ink just in case it's still evaporating. So when I place that onto the white, you can see that it's actually fairly green. Now then, I'm just going to place the strip of Designer Series paper onto the green vellum. Actually, I'm going to match up those ends, and then I'm going to place adhesive behind the paper, because if I put adhesive where it's just vellum, you'll be able to see that from the front of your card. So this is giving us just a little foundation that our turtle is going to sit on here. All right, so let's stamp our turtle. And this guy is just so cute, or girl, depending on how you want to portray the turtle. But you can really do him or her up in many different colors to get all sorts of effects. When I was kind of researching this online, I saw turtles in all sorts of colors. That's the beauty of, you know, being a crafter. It's just your imagination is the limit, really. So I've got Old Olive and the Fresh Freesia markers here. And I'm just going to use the light Old Olive, I think. I didn't want my turtle too dark. So, and the dark Old Olive is pretty dark. I wanted to keep it quite light. Something that you might give a small child for their birthday. So just happy and light. So I like to outline first. That's probably just my way of ensuring that I don't go outside the lines, to be honest. And then if you're using the same color as you've outlined with, you don't need to worry too much about blending it. And you don't want to color his eyeball green, so just make sure you're careful around that. Okay, and then I'm just going to take the darker one. I prefer to use the fine tip. I notice in my classes that most people like to use the fat tip. I would suggest you just experiment with both and decide which one you like the best. Hopefully you're all enjoying that. And then we've got the Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to use the Fresh Freesia just to color in the little toenails here. Very cute, and bring all the colors through. Now the shell I'm going to do separately. You could just do the shell all in one and have it one layer. And where did I put that punch? There it is. And then the Stampin' Up! Punches, for those who maybe haven't seen it before, we use them upside down, and they are designed with this little window in the back so that you can slide it in and punch him out, and you can see what you're doing. Now this sample that I'm making, I am going to send to someone who leaves me a comment just randomly. And then I have prepared this shell earlier because I did put shimmery crystal effects on it. I think you can see, yeah, you can see that. And it does need some hours to dry. So I got that ready around lunchtime today. So what I've done is I've stamped the turtle, just as you've seen. I didn't bother coloring him in, of course. And then I stamped the detail of the shell, which is this stamp here, in Fresh Freesia. And then punched him out and just used my scissors to cut the shell out. And then put the shimmery crystal effects on. And then we'll put that on our turtle. Now, of course, if you're bothering to make 2 layers, you would want to make it dimensional. So you'll want to put dimensionals on this guy. Otherwise, if you're just putting it down flat, you might as well just make it 1 layer. Okay, and I just need to bring that a little closer to me so I can line it up. Okay, like that. And that looks actually really cute. I have to say, this little guy makes me smile every time I do things with him. And then we'll just put him on our card. So cute. I just love that background. I'm hoping you can see it better than I can see on my screen. It's just such a nice detail. I'm thinking I need to do another Facebook Live and just do some different things with this background. And then I thought I'll use the Fresh Freesia ribbon and just add some of that up in the corner. Now, if you were making this for a little boy, you could just probably leave it off, depending on his likes and dislikes, but most little boys don't really want a purple ribbon, generally speaking. Okay, so I'm just going to tie that into a bow and put that up here in the corner, and take my scissors. Now you all need to have a pair of ribbon cutting scissors. It doesn't even have to be a big pair like this one, but even if you just have a separate pair of scissors that you only use for ribbon, like tie a piece of ribbon on it and then put it somewhere where other people in your house won't use it, then you'll always have nice cuts on your ribbon. And then I'm just using some of the basic twine. We have a twine pack now that's just like, I think it's 5 neutral colors in there. And I'm using the vanilla. I'll use another little glue dot and just put that in too. Or you could tie it around the existing ribbon before you stick it on too, but I'm just gonna tie it on like that, or I mean stick it on like that. There we go. And then our final detail for this one, and then I do have some other samples to show you, is I want to use these resin flowers. I think they're so cute. We've been using them in class, and just really nice, and nice colors, and a nice size. Okay, so I think what I'll do is put the big one here on the shell. Now, if I had done this earlier, you could put it on when you have the Crystal Effects on and it's still wet, because the Crystal Effects is actually a glue as well. So you could just drop the flower in and let it all dry together. And then I'm going to put these little baby ones, and then I think I'll put one up here, not near the ribbon. So we've just got that little contrast color, which is quite nice to have a contrast color. We could do another video just on color theory and how much of each color and how many colors and things like that, because that's always really interesting. But so don't think that your final little sprinkles of color need to match. They can be something completely contrasting. And then for the inside of the card, I just used some of the scraps. This is actually a little strip of the basic white that I just cut off the end of these, because this card's just a little bit shorter than what I would normally do in a class. So I just had a little strip to trim off, and you might as well use it. And there you go. And then you've got a little bit of the same colors going through on the inside. So I hope you like that. And let me show you a few other samples using the Turtle Friends. Some of these you may have seen, but they're worth another look. Let me move all these things out of the way. So this is one that I did with the jar Facebook Live I did a few weeks ago. And this is where we've got some matching wrapped chocolates and the little turtle on the top. Now I've just used the shaker shapes on his shell. And this time, instead of stamping the shell, I just punched it out of some polka dotted paper that coordinated with the stripes in the background. And then I did put clear embossing powder and heated it over the top so it's a little bit shiny, but you don't even have to do that. Just using the polka dotted paper looks pretty cute too. So we'll put him here so you can kind of see him. And then this little guy is one that I really like. Kind of could be suitable for a baby card, or just a general hello to someone that you care about, with lots of little hearts and things in there. And this one, I actually did a video for this, and that one will get posted tomorrow night in New Zealand, so in about 28 hours or so. And that one I did similar to the one we did tonight, where I've got the Crystal Effects on the shell and did it into 2 layers. We'll put them up here. And then this one's done in more brights colors rather than the soft, well, I say baby colors, but you know, just the pastel colors. And this is one that I taught at a team training a few weeks ago. And also, if you're coming to our extravaganza events over the next few weeks, we're not doing it at the Auckland one, but at the other ones we'll be doing this card. So that's a little sneak peek for you. And I've got another color variation of that one, so you can choose between the 2 colors. And then this is a fun one that there is a video for this on my YouTube channel. And this is a shaker card, as you can see, using those shaker shapes and those fun bright colors. So it's just a really cute set for when you want a happy card. And I think that's everything from me tonight. So thank you so much for joining me. So thanks for watching me, and I will see you next week if I don't talk to you before. Bye-bye.